Well, I read two kind of shocking things online in the past couple of days, and I thought I would share those with you. Hey, I'm Dr. Patty Barch. I'm a traditional naturopath, founder and owner of Naturally Unbridled Wellness and naturallyunbridled.com, where we focus on wellness solutions, not disease management. This is Down the Ridge with Dr. Patty. This is not medical advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. Nothing I say is true. Don't listen to me. I think I'm trying to have a different attitude about how crazy the world is and have it be like, well, isn't that fascinating? And how boring would life be if we weren't fascinated by some stuff once in a while? And so here are two things that caught my attention this week. So the first is there's a new 4-letter word, and it's spelled OBESE. Okay? And I've known for a while that you're not allowed to say that word on social media because that could hurt somebody's feelings. Even though it's a medical term, it could hurt somebody's feelings, and because of that, if you use that word or FAT, which isn't as nice or as technical, but it is what it is, your content will be downplayed, which is why I spelled that 4-letter word, which has more than 4 letters, I'm aware. Thank you, trolls. So anyway, what I read about that, sorry, cranked my heat up there. What I read about that is they are now looking to rename that condition because it can be offensive to see that word written even in a medical context, like on your medical chart, right? Because they don't want to hurt your feelings. God forbid they help your health. You can't hurt your feelings. So they're literally looking for a new term to replace OBESE with, that people will feel less responsible for that condition, even though I would say that people who are in that condition are partially responsible because, fundamentally only you are responsible for what goes in your mouth, but they're also not fully responsible because they've been lied to about the impacts of those things that go into your mouth, and they've been manipulated into putting more things into their mouth based on the inclusion of various ingredients and disrupting of different biological processes to make you eat more. So anyway, that was the first thing. Oh, I did have one more thing to say about that. So this would be great. They're going to make a new name for it, right? And so they'll use the new name, and then they'll use the fact that less people, oh, big tree fell. It was wicked windy yesterday. They'll use the fact that less people are being diagnosed OBESE as a way to spin the data. They'll say that the rate of that condition has gone down in the past XYZ, right? And they'll take all kinds of credit for there being less people diagnosed with that OBESE because now they're calling it I don't know what they're going to call it. Actually, that'll be kind of fun. If you have ideas for their new, the term escapes me for a fake name. I don't want to go with pseudonym here. Anyway, I might think of it. You can drop it in the comments. But what I want you to do is if you can think of what they're going to call this, moving forward so that nobody gets their feelings hurt, I'll be intrigued to see what they finally come up with. Okay, the second thing that I read yesterday, which I blew my ever-loving mind, was that 70% of nursing mothers are on at least one prescription medication. And I was just like, 70 freaking percent. So first of all, why is our generation of women within their reproductive years medicated to this degree in the first place. Now, I'll tell you that just from my experience in working with all sorts of clients over the years, that it seems like 9 out of 10. It's probably not, but it's like, it's the exception, not the rule. If somebody comes in within that age range and they are not taking something typically for their emotions. So here's the thing I wanted to say about 70% of breastfeeding mothers are on prescription medication. First of all, high five for breastfeeding. I know it doesn't work out for everybody, but breast is best, and I'm really happy that women are realizing that that's the best thing that they can do for their babies. However, what I want you to realize is that if you go, I do this all the time, especially if I'm working with a fertility client. I look at their prescriptions, and I go to a website that I use called RX, like for prescription, rxlist.com. And there's a little search thing, and I type in the name of the drug. You can also do this on drugs.com. That's another website that works pretty much just as well. It's just out of habit. I use rxlist.com more often. So I type in the name of the drug, and then I click on the drug, and I get to its page. And then I use a PC, so I do Control F. I have no idea how Apple devices do a find or search the text thing. So if you know how to do that, could you drop that in the comments? But I do Control F, and a little search box pops up, and I will type lactation if they're a nursing mother, or I might say nursing, but lactation is the more technical term. Or if they're a fertility client, or if they're pregnant, I will type in pregnancy. They're almost always in the same little paragraph anyway. And then without fail, the majority of what I read about being on these drugs during lactation is that the studies haven't been done. So your doctor may say, we think it's safe, or yeah, it's safe because I've had another patient who took it and they didn't seem to have any problems, so it's safe. But fundamentally, they don't do the research to see if it would be safe for a pregnant woman or a nursing mother to be taking these drugs, because it would be unethical to run those experiments. So in order to run an experiment, you have to take your proposal for the experiment to the institutional review board, and these are the people who have to look at the potential pros and cons of these studies, and they don't get approved because there's too much risk involved in the situation with a pregnancy or lactation that it could cause problems. So they just basically anecdotally, retrospectively collect some data. But even with these SSRI drugs, the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, and the benzodiazepines and these other things, they really do not it is really clear that there's a problem with those drugs, but they say that, of course, they haven't done the trials, which they could because there's enough freaking women taking those things. They say that you should weigh the pros and cons before deciding to keep a pregnant woman or a lactating woman on these drugs. And there's a lot of listed side effects. Oh, I said that word. There goes the ghosting. There's a lot of things that are listed that the newborn baby can have. Premature birth complications, withdrawal symptoms after birth, respiratory distress. There's just like a lot of things. So, 70% of nursing mothers are taking prescription drugs. And most of the time it's because when they were in high school and they were put on the birth control pill, they their emotions got out of control, or they got to college and they were sucking at independence. It was really stressful, and so they put them on these drugs that are super highly crazy addictive, really hard to get off of. There's almost like a shock collar response for trying to get off of some of these drugs, but it's in your brain. They call them brain zaps. Literally, that's what people call them. So we've got a problem there. It's like, wow. Anyway, it's Friday. I am really late running to the office, so I better go. Peace out, peeps. Have a healthy day and a healthy weekend.